If you value historically proven survival practices, practical household efficiency, and methods that worked long before modern HVAC systems, you're in the right place. This practice was routine in cold climates long before modern heating controls. For centuries, households across northern Europe, colonial North America, and high-altitude regions followed a simple daily habit during winter. Once a day, windows or doors were opened wide for a short controlled period. This was not done for comfort or freshness in the modern sense. It was done to manage moisture, preserve heat efficiency, and protect both the structure of the home and the health of the people inside it. Homes heated by wood stoves, coal ranges, masonry heaters, or fireplaces depended on dry air and dry materials. Moisture was the enemy, not cold. Cold air itself is dense and dry. When introduced briefly into a warm interior, it forces out humid, stale air that has accumulated from breathing, cooking, washing, and heating. This exchange resets the indoor environment in a way that allows heat sources to work more efficiently for the rest of the day. Moisture control was the hidden factor behind lower heating bills. Older homes were not sealed the way modern houses are. Yet even then, people understood that trapped moisture made rooms harder to heat. Damp air absorbs heat energy without raising temperature efficiently. Wet walls, floors and furnishings act as heat sinks, pulling warmth away from living spaces. By purging humid air once a day, households reduced the energy required to maintain stable indoor temperatures. In practical terms, this meant the stove did not need to burn as hot or as long to achieve the same comfort level. Firewood lasted longer. Coal bins emptied more slowly. Heating bills, when fuel was purchased, stayed manageable throughout the winter. This was not theory. It was lived experience, passed down through routine, not manuals. The timing of the daily air exchange mattered more than duration. Historical records and household guides from the 18th and 19th centuries consistently point to a short, deliberate airing period rather than prolonged ventilation. Windows were opened during the warmest part of the day, usually late morning or early afternoon, when outdoor temperatures were at their highest and indoor fires were already established. The exchange typically lasted 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes less in extreme cold. So, the goal here was not really to cool the structure, but rather to flush the air, you see. The walls, floors and furniture all retained their stored heat thanks to their thermal mass. Once the windows were closed, the now dry air inside warmed up rapidly and with far less fuel than before. That's precisely why this method worked, even in sub-zero conditions. Heating systems, performed much better in dry, oxygen-rich environments. Combustion-based heating systems actually rely on proper airflow and the right oxygen balance. Stagnant indoor air, it reduces combustion efficiency, especially in those older stoves and fireplaces. By briefly introducing cold, oxygen-rich air, folks improved the draft, stabilized flames, and even reduced soot buildup. Cold air ventilation, interestingly enough, also protected the building itself. Moisture trapped inside walls can lead to rot, mold, and degraded insulation materials. Even stone and brick structures, believe it or not, suffer when internal moisture freezes and expands. By venting humidity daily, homes stayed drier. Insulation retained its insulating properties, and those pesky drafts caused by structural decay were reduced over time. This practice is, still entirely applicable today, even in homes equipped with central heating. The key, really, is control and timing. Choose a time when your home is already warm, ideally late morning or perhaps early afternoon. Open several windows fully to create cross-ventilation. Allow the air to exchange for 5 minutes. In very cold climates, 3 minutes is quite sufficient. Then close everything tightly and let your heating system bring the temperature back up. You will often find, perhaps to your surprise, that the home warms faster than expected and actually stays warm longer. Indoor air feels lighter and less clammy, you know. Thermostats cycle less frequently. Over the course of several weeks, this can translate into noticeable energy savings. And for those using wood stoves, pellet stoves, or backup heating systems, this practice is even more effective. Historical households did not fear a brief exposure to cold air. Instead, they respected it and used it strategically. A short daily airing reduced odours, limited mould growth, and improved sleep quality at night by maintaining healthier indoor air. Bedrooms were often aired earlier in the day, so they could retain warmth by evening. Energy costs fluctuate. Fuel supply chains fail. Power outages happen. Understanding how to manage indoor environments without relying solely on mechanical systems is honestly a core preparedness skill. Daily cold air ventilation is a low-risk, no-cost method that improves heating efficiency, no matter what system you use. In severe cold, the same principles apply, but with, tighter control. Open fewer windows, shorten the duration, and make sure your heat sources are stable before and after airing. Never leave fires unattended. The goal remains air exchange, not a temperature drop. Even in freezing conditions, dry cold air can actually improve indoor heat retention once the exchange is complete. This is especially valuable in tightly sealed modern homes, where humidity builds up rather quickly. Air moisture content, heat transfer, and combustion efficiency behave the same today as they did, 200 years ago. What has changed is simply our awareness. Reintroducing this daily habit can reduce heating costs, protect your home, and improve comfort throughout winter without any new equipment or expense. If this guide added value to your understanding of historical winter survival and practical energy efficiency, do subscribe to Warfield Prepper Chronicles and like the video. Share it with others who take winter preparedness seriously. This knowledge deserves to stay alive, used and passed on.